Welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal podcast. I am Renaldo McKenzie. There is lots happening in the world. There's lots happening here in the US. And I did not intend to do a podcast today, but I had to do it. Because, I believe Dante, who is the co-producer of the show, Dante Nelson, was doing something for his school at Capella University. And you were doing something about writing. And one of the things and you always say, how do I write? Where do I get content from? The thing about writing, if you don't read, you don't have content. You have to read widely. Yes, you have to be informed. Yes, you do. And then, of course, one thing you learn about is an epiphany. When you read and when you are exposed to information or stimuli, and you interact and engage with that, with your mind, sometimes you get an epiphany. It makes you stop for a moment and think. When you stop for a moment and think about what you've read, that is a pivotal moment. That is when you're getting an epiphany. That's when you get ready to write. And you just write whatever dumb thing or amazing thing and then you organize that, an epiphany. But I got an epiphany today because I was watching a report. I was watching what's the name of what's this channel? Was it Fox News? Fox News was sharing some data. And they had some doctor on the show, medical doctor. They were reporting on some data on social media, saying that social media has caused increases in terms of has created more mental health challenges for children. More of our children and teens are having or experiencing mental health issues as a result of social media. Now, how you are able to come to that conclusion is a far stretch. Is it based on reason, or is it based on interviews you've had with these young people and they are saying that? But I mean, outside of that, I want to make a very important point. It is not true. Let me respond to the Fox report on social media and this data. Let me say this: it is not true. It is not true, and the skewed data about social media causing increasing mental health issues for children and teens. That data does not take into account how people's views about mental health are changing, so that more people are coming forward saying that they have mental health issues. The stigma around mental health is diminishing, and that, of course, that's thanks to social media. And with social media and information, there is actually more awareness and less myths around mental health, so that more people are acknowledging their mental health, acknowledging their mental health. We have to be fair, okay? So the data does not, and just so you know, if you look at suicide, was always high in this country, in the US. In fact, when I was doing a study on suicide in the US, from as far back as the 1960s, mental health has always been very high, and even higher than the murder rate in this country. And I say to you, if you look at the wrong thing, you get the wrong results. And you have to look at things. You talk about what's causing gun violence, but they put in terms of the access to guns. And I say to you, no, not necessarily the access to guns, because What it is that will prevent one man from taking up a gun and shooting somebody and another man from having the gun, they're not doing it. You understand what I'm saying? It is the human conscience and the human nature. It is the individual. Yes? Now, I must admit that, yes, social media and visuals can create problems in people. Parents have a problem too. But we have to understand that we cannot say that. And in fact, if anything, many young people are reporting that the benefits of social media. So, of course, you have to manage. This is what I'm saying to you. You have to be careful when people start talk about these things in the way that they're talking about and providing data without being balanced. Because the next thing, you know what's going to come next? Regulation. You try to regulate. But if you're going to regulate something, you have to get the truth and you have to take into consideration everything. The data about mental health and what it's doing to our young people. It has to take into consideration everything. Okay? Everything. I say to you, we have to be for people's critical thinking and the education, people's ability to decipher and to discern. We need to strengthen the education. We need to strengthen. We talk about human conscience and the church and how soft and how these things used to play a very important role in society. It is not playing a very important role in society. And just, there are positive things that people can get on social media and there are negative things people can get on social media. It is what the individual chooses to expose him or herself to. Just as we had many years ago, we talked about rap and dancehall music in Jamaica and how dancehall music was creating a gun culture and a violent culture. Rap culture in this country and how it's creating a violent culture, gun culture in African American communities. I know we're talking about TikTok or social media or gun. We are always looking at the wrong thing. We're looking at tools. It is the individual and how he chooses to respond to that stimuli. Okay, and his morals and his ethics and his training and his development. That is what as a society we need to look at. We are looking at the wrong things and getting the wrong results. We're looking at the tools, we're looking at the objects, but we're not looking at the minds behind it. We'll be right back after these messages. This is the Neoliberal podcast. Welcome back to the episode. There is something else that's happening in the news. Ron DeSantis is about to announce his presidential bid, and of course, we had to get involved. And by the way, we hope to have John Castro and on the show. In fact, I was reading earlier, Mr. John Anthony Castro, who is a contributor to the Neoliberal podcast, and as you know, he's running for president. And we are doing a series, the Castro v. Trump series. He's suing Trump, saying that he is ineligible to run because of his participation in January 6th. But as it relates to Ron DeSantis, John Castro tweeted a post and attached the Rolling Stone article that says, of course, no one is afraid of Princess Pudding Fingers and his white boots. He can't even take down Mickey Mouse. I mean, that's Disney. But the story is, and let me see if I could get it for you. If I could get the, let's go to John Castro here. So John Castro retweeted a story from a link to a story about Ron DeSantis. It's in the RollingStones.com. DeSantis, who is a 2024 opponent. The article is entitled, DeSantis' 2024 opponents are unfazed. No one is afraid of him. Again, no one is afraid of him. So I responded saying, according to the story in Rolling Stones, no one is afraid of Ron DeSantis, and they are right. The Rolling Stones article, as he gets ready to announce his presidential bid. There is no way that DeSantis can win, and I'm going to say that. There is no way that DeSantis can win. He is seen, he is seen as anti-inclusive. Ron DeSantis, he's running for president. He's seen as anti-inclusive and anti-diversity. Ron DeSantis has attacked black academics and Disney. Okay, Mickey Mouse. And attacked Mickey Mouse. Okay. Yes. Okay? And let me say, in my opinion, he has lost the black vote with anti-woke policies, as if diversity and inclusivity is woke. Many black Americans are incensed by his policies, which he has boldly promoted as if he is not going to run for president. Now, of course, I said to you, I'm going to have John Castro on the show later this week talking about, I think John Castro sent me a tweet earlier. He's having some problem with his throat, but he told me that we're going to have a show with him later this week. So we're looking forward to that. We're also going to be having we have a lot in store for you. For this week. We have lots in store for you for the Neoliberal round. Because we're gonna have Dr. Nolan Fontaine, who's gonna be joining the show. You know, it's talking about Indian heritage, because I think it's an Indian Heritage Month. But we're gonna have him on the show.
It would be great to have him on the show again.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. We're gonna have him, and he's gonna also bring several other guests. I think we have other persons. If I can find the tweet that he sent me earlier, let me see who he said he's gonna have. There we go. According to Nolan, sent me a tweet earlier. The Urban Indian Heritage Petition for Misclarified American Indians in North America. So we're going to be talking about that. And we're gonna have. Who are we gonna? So members of the Urban Indian Heritage Society will be on the show talking about that. The vice president, his vice president. So the vice president of the Indian Heritage League will be there, and I think and it's gonna be we're gonna be talking on the 27th of May, just about 3 days from now, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm not. We may have a live link, or it may be delayed so that we can edit it and spruce it up for you. So, but we're gonna have members of the Urban Indian Heritage Society, Urban Indian Heritage Society, and they're gonna be on the show. And of course, we're gonna have John Castro on the show this week. But there's one other thing that I must talk about before I end the show, this brief show today. Artificial intelligence. I'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. Just so you know, we have a poll going on our Spotify pages, also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Reddit. The handle Renaldo McKenzie. The poll question is artificial intelligence the new way to plagiarize with confidence? At Penn at Georgetown. Maybe we should think about creating a software to track footprints or AI footprints for institutions so as to minimize that possibility. Now, you can participate by saying yes, no, or maybe so. But to be honest, that's not the real issue. I must say that, indeed, AI is the end of schools and institutions. When we think about artificial intelligence and the sophistication in technology, AI is the end of schools and institutions and some industries. School was school, or schooling or education. Schools, they were needed for learning. Now we have the technology to replace schools and certain work. Yet we are still requiring huge sums of money and schooling that technology have made unnecessary. The way we think about systems must change. The way we think about systems must change. Indeed. We will have problems such as plagiarism, etc., if we do not rethink requirements for students and even how we train and develop people. Just as Elon Musk wants a redesign of roadways to facilitate fully functioning self-driving cars, schools must redesign learning systems. In fact, I did a podcast, the previous part, not the previous one, the one I did before now was about lending. you can see that if you're interested, if you want to get a loan and learn knowing how to navigate. I did a podcast about lending with RBGD lending, but before that, I talked about mentoring. In fact, we should maybe, back in the days, apprenticeship was how people used to pass on. That you should develop people. Schooling, education was about apprenticeship, was about mentoring, one-on-one relationship. Was more relational. But as we adopt the Greek model of learning in our society, then it becomes more heavy-handed or capitalistic. But those are some of the things that's happening in society, in the world today, and probably may have to think about that. So go, please participate in the website, and I wrote an article, and which is available in the RBDG website. It's entitled "Tips to Accessing Business Financing." Tips to Accessing Business Financing, and you can go to rdjblending.com in their blogs and articles. It's entitled "Tips to Accessing Business Financing with a Low Credit Score," and the article begins by saying success in business requires the ability to access capital and financing. However, having a low credit score below 600 may make it more challenging to secure loans and capital, since lenders typically prefer borrowers with higher credit scores. However, there are still potential avenues you can explore. 1. Improve your credit. 2. Alternative lenders. 3. Microloans. 4. Collateral-based loans. And 5. Seek a co-signer. Now, I won't get into the article today because we are going to have another podcast delving into that particular article. But check it out. If you have questions, send us a feedback or send in questions. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. As we get ready to wrap up, we have Dante. How are you doing? You're back in school, back at Capella University. I understand one of your professors cited you for plagiarism from your own work. You used your own work in one of your essays, and then she pulled it up on the site and saw, and she did not give you any grade for that. Probably she's listening to the podcast right now. What's her name, Nicole? Let's say, give a shout out to your English composition professor at Capella University.
She was doing her job and she was doing what she was supposed to do. Yes. But being unaware that I'm affiliated with the information that she had pulled up. So hopefully, she had rechecked and I will be graded and get the grade that I'm and get the grade that I deserve.
Yes, and so that's good.
Yeah, that was shocking to see that comment and that response from her, saying that my work is plagiarism.
Yes,
my work was just it's from another it's on another platform.
Yes.
Information from what I had wrote in my informative essay. Yeah. Some of it is in the description.
Yes.
On podcast.
Yes,
so
talking about.
It's still affiliated with me.
Talking about. By the way, just so you know, the Neoliberal Corporation, we are expanding, and we provide a range of services. Not only do we have our book available, but if you're interested in digital services, search engine optimization, AICEO, we also are working with RDJB Lending Business Services. We also work with Ant Business Solutions, and in terms of web hosting and website, web development, search engine optimization, web hosting and web design. So please give us a call. Reach out to us if you need help with several aspects of your business: research, writing, publication, content creation, digital cards or business card services. We can provide those services. If you need materials and mentoring and leadership development, or would you like us to speak at any of your or to provide training and development, we provide those services. We are a dynamic organization. We are all about serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly. And we want to recognize RDJB Lending business lending services. They are efficient at getting the guidance or providing the guidance you need, from small business loans to financing business, real estate. They provide lending solutions for all business lending challenges. When the banks say no, they can get you the lending or the capital, the loans and the capital you need. Visit them today at rdjblending.com. We'll be right back after this. Finally on the podcast, I just want to make an announcement, a somber announcement, and it would be remiss of me not to mention this. Brother Reverend Dr. Christopher V. Brown. Sunrise, May 28, 1974. Died May 19, 2023. Who is Brother Reverend Dr. Christopher V. Brown? He made my pledging experience an unforgettable and an indelible one. As a keen observer, he was effective at facilitating anything. I learned of his sudden passing some days ago, and it sent shivers down my spine. For I'll never forget these words, and I quote, "You now have brothers," end quote, while I was away from country and family studying at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Spring 11 line of Nu Sigma chapter of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity was honored to have had the late Brother Reverend Dr. Chris V. Brown as our dean. He was dynamic and exceptional. He will be missed, but we have a legacy to continue to investing in others. Brother Reverend Dr. Christopher V. Brown, once a member of Nu Sigma chapter initiated 5/8/2009, was the 43rd president of the Nu Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Served as president in 2012 and until 2013. He was also the international chaplain of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity International from 2014 to 2016. And towards the end, he ended at Psi Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Brother Reverend Dr. Christopher V. Brown, rest in peace, and the light of God perpetually shine upon you. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Neoliberal podcast. And please continue to follow us, support us. Donate to this show by going to anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. And just so you know, visit us at theneoliberal.com and renaldocmckenzie.com. Let us know how we are doing. Send us a feedback. And if you haven't gotten a copy of my book, please visit us at Amazon, eBay store, Barnes & Noble, or wherever. The book is available in hard copy, paperback, ebook, or Audible. And just so you know, I have my second book, which hasn't been released yet, but we are working on it. It's with the reviewers at Haymarket. Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered. Neo-capitalism and the Death of Nations. I'm looking forward to that. Please visit the Neoliberal Round at anchor.fm/theneoliberal. Walk good. Oh, and Dante, let me end properly. And of course, we are all about by making the monopoly. I am Renaldo McKenzie, and with me is Thank you for listening. Walk good.